All right, it is time for the pre-rolls for turn number 4. Yesterday, I finished my turn 3 game, and I did the post-battle rolls. So this morning, I'm going to do the pre-rolls for the next one. I'm starting on page 68, if you want to follow along, and I'm going to be doing what they call Step 1 and Step 2, which is before Step 3, which is when the battle happens. Step 1 is the easiest one, which is basically, am I traveling or not? And I am not. I am going to stay on Signet 4, I believe, for one more turn, for this turn, only because I am kind of low on funds. My ship is a fuel hog. It automatically takes, I think, 5 credits to leave a world, and I have to pay a bonus credit for 6. Right now, I think I have 11 credits to my name. Could be more. I don't have my character sheet with me right now, but it's not much. And I want to get a little bit more padding before I leave. The other reason I'm staying is I have a patron, and sometimes patron jobs pay better. So there's no guarantee when I get to a new planet that I will have or find a patron. So I'm going to stick around for this one more turn. So basically I can skip Step 1. It's not applicable because I am not going to be traveling. So we'll go straight to Step 2, which is things like determine the jobs, assign tasks, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and skip on over. I'm not doing anything. Also, since I'm not traveling, I don't have to worry about damage to the ship. I don't have to worry about some weird thing happening during the travel that you roll randomly. So right now what we're going to do is upkeep and ship repair. All right, upkeep is 1 credit for 4 to 6 crew members. I have 8. It is 1 additional credit per crew past 6. So I am paying 3 credits for upkeep. That 8th crew member, I'm starting to rethink that, but I do like having additional crew members because I can assign them tasks, which you'll see shortly. They just cost me more. So no big deal there. It's minus 3 credits, and I will live with that. Now for ship debt, the ship debt that I currently have is 15 credits. I can go ahead and pay a few credits. If you'll remember, if you owe less than 31, there's a 1 credit interest. So if you pay 1 and you end up earning 1 in interest, you really haven't done much. So I'm low on cash, so I'm going to go minus 2 credits to pay off my ship toward my ship debt, which basically means I'm really just paying off 1. So it will go down to 14. But my goal is to get that ship paid off so that I can stop paying the interest each turn. But also, when you owe credits on it, there's always this risk that you might roll on one of the random tables that I believe there's 1 or 2 instances out there that reference ship debt, or if you even lose your ship, I think there's something about how much debt you owed on the ship that could come into play. Not really sure, but I want to pay it off. I have no ship repairs to make because my ship, the hull is solid, so I don't have to do that. Paying for medical care. Finally, that's done. Blue Eyes is out of the sick bay. He was out for turn 3. He is back for turn 4, so he is available as a crew member. So I don't have any medical care. And now we get to my favorite part sometimes. It's the assigning of tasks. I have 8 crew members now. I have the captain. I have Vey. I have Six. I have Droon, who's my feral. I have Huala. I have Freak. I have Blue Eyes, and I have a new crew member whose name is Surge. I have 8 crew members that I can assign tasks. Now the rules are that you can only assign a task at most to 2 characters. So the tasks are find a patron, train, trade, recruit, explore, track if you have a rival on a planet and you want to just go ahead and confront them and deal with them. You can do track, where you can look for the rival to have a showdown. If you win that showdown battle, I believe you can lose them as a rival. You can repair items, and you can also decoy. When you arrive on a planet where you have a rival, there is an increased chance that the rival is going to want to fight you. If you're trying to avoid your rival, maybe because they're more dangerous than some of the other people that you might fight, you can issue you can assign the decoy task, which will reduce the risk of your rivals coming and ambushing you. So right now, I don't have a rival, so I don't have to worry about tracking or doing decoy. I do have one patron, but getting more patrons is never a bad idea because patrons give you better jobs typically. They come with danger pay. They come with benefits sometimes. They come with hazard pay. Not always, but there's you do roll for that, but there is a chance that you could get more pay. So I definitely want to find a new patron. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign 2 of mine to do that. Recruiting, I don't have to do this turn. I'm at 8. I could keep recruiting, but I'm not going to recruit anymore. I've got 8. There is a thing that involves savvy, and it's repair. I have no repairs jobs. So my highest savvy is with 6, my robot. So basically what I'm saying is none of my crews have any abilities that will give them advantages on any of these tasks. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do, they're looking for a patron. I'll give 6 and Droon are going to explore. And let's see, trade. I'll give Huala and Freak the trade option. I guess 2 will have to train. The training will definitely go to Surge because he's new. And getting an XP will work. All right, so let's do the patron. So to find a patron, you roll a d6 and you add the number of crew members who are looking. If the crew has an old patron among them, each patron, if the crew has an old patron among their contacts, each patron adds +1 to the roll. Each existing patron you have will add 1. I've got 2 characters. That's +2. So I'm adding 2 for the crew, and I'm adding 1 for the existing patron. So I'm adding 3 to this die. And it says if the result is 5 or higher, you find a new patron. So come on, 2 or higher. And I rolled a 6. This is my mace die. There's 1. There's 6. So I found a new patron. Which means I'll get to generate 2 jobs for this particular turn to see, and it'll give me choices. You can always turn down a patron job and just take a straight opportunity job as well. So I'm going to have, hopefully, 3 jobs to choose from. All right, so let's do the Explore. Explore says each crew member rolls on the exploration table, and that's a D100. Here's the exploration table on page 80. Green is the 10s, yellow is the 1s. And I rolled a 30. 30 on the exploration. I'm doing 6 first. So 6 got a 30, which is Alien Merchant. And it says, give him any item, then roll on the loot table. Oh, man, I don't really have any items to give. I have a machine pistol that the Pharaoh has, which I'm thinking about getting rid of, but I don't have a weapon to assign him. Well, I could change weapons around, couldn't I? I could shift weapons. And the most crew I can take is 6. And I did buy a colony rifle for my new recruit, Surge. So technically I could assign that to him. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to give him the machine pistol. And the machine pistol is nice because it gets 2 shots, but it's an 8-inch range. I don't like that. You got to get in real close with that. So I'm going to give that away, and I'm going to take a loot roll, which is on page 131. I rolled a 30, page 131. So let's go do that. So maybe I'll get something better on the loot roll. You never know. All right, so the loot table here is a D100. I rolled a 70. Which is odds and ends. I don't know about that. Odds and ends. And that table is on page 133. It is also a D100. I rolled a 54, which is an implant. Interesting. I've never had one of those. And then on the implant, I roll another subtable, which is a 66 health boost. Well, that may be good. I will have to look at that. Now, 6 is a robot, so he can't use that. But hey, one of my characters is going to be able to do it. So I've got a health boost implant. That sounds really cool. And then Droon is going to do his exploration. And I rolled a 42. Can you see that? 42 is someone wants a package delivered. When you travel to a new world, I'm going to write down package delivered. And I'm going to write down my roll number, which is 42, because sometimes it helps to go find if you forget. When you travel to a new world, if this crew member is still in the crew, you earn 3 credits and roll a d6. On a 1 to 2, you acquire a rival and receive +1 story points. Okay, all right. I'll try to remember to do that. I haven't traveled to a new world, or I'm not doing that. So on the next world I travel to, we'll have to remember that. All right, let's do the trade. So flip back. Huala is going to do a trade, and what that is, you roll on the D100 trade table, and you don't necessarily have to give up something. It's just assumed that you have something to trade. You don't have to specify what it wants. It just says you have found something you found along the way to trade. All right, so I rolled a 75. 75 is Army Surplus. Here we go. Huala had Army Surplus. I rolled a 75. And it says you may choose an auto rifle, a blast pistol, or a glare sword. Auto rifle all the way. I like the range. So plus auto rifle. So Droon has an auto rifle now. And now Freak is going to roll on the trade table. And I rolled an 86, which is gently used, which says roll once on the gear table, page 132. The item is damaged and needs repaired. So gear on page 132. And luckily I have 2 crew members here who I could assign one to repair, maybe. We'll see. See what it is. 132, gear. There's a subtable. 51 is a protective item, plus protective item. And then you roll on the protective item subtable. This is usually armor. 97, stealth gear. Oh man, that sounds good. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to look it up. Let's look it up because that just sounds too good. Stealth gear. All right, so it's under, all the weapons and gear starts on page 53. So I'm looking up, well, let's look at implant. The implant was a health boost. If a post-battle injury would result in 2 or more campaign turns of recovery time, reduce it by 1. If the character has toughness 3 when receiving this implant, raise it to 4. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Let's see. And then the other one I found was protective item. That's probably under armor. Protection, protective devices. Here we go. Stealth gear is armor. Enemies firing from a range over 9 inches are at -1 to hit. Yeah. All right. I got some good stuff. The unfortunate part is during this phase, you can only assign 2 characters to do trade. Otherwise, man, you just assign everybody to go trade. All right, so Blue Eyes and Surge are doing training. Train. Okay, let's see. Train is on page 77. Characters can improve their ability scores with XP. This often happens as a reward in the post-battle stage, but characters can also train as a task, earning 1 XP. If this means they may make a character upgrade, resolve that immediately. All right, so I tell you what. Blue Eyes, how do you repair? Repair, I think you roll a 6. If you have had items destroyed, you can attempt to repair. Roll a d6, add savvy. Doing this, add +1 if the character is an engineer. I think Blue Eyes is an engineer. Let me double check. I am pretty sure that I have Blue Eyes as an engineer. Question is, do I have an old character sheet handy? Blue Eyes is an engineer. Yes. All right, so I will assign Blue Eyes instead of training. He will do a repair. It says you add 1 to the character if it is an engineer. You may spend credits to improve the roll for +1. Oh, man, I really want to get that stealth gear. So I need to roll a d6. I add +1 for Blue Eyes. I'm going to spend, and it says on a 6 or higher, the item is repaired. If you roll a natural 1, it's destroyed or damaged beyond repair. So I don't want to roll a 1. A natural 1 means, it just happens. So I'm going to add +1. I got to roll a 5 or higher. I'm going to spend a credit. I hate to spend credits on this, but I should do it. I'm going to spend 2 credits. I'm going to do -2 creds. Hopefully I make it back in the battle, and that gives me +3 to this roll. So I need to roll a 3 or higher, and I rolled a 4, so I repaired it. All right. Excellent. And then Surge will just get +1 XP because he is training. That's that. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah, the jobs. We're not done. All right, so that was the exciting part. But this is also my favorite part, second favorite part. Job offers. Okay, so I have Patron 1 and I have Patron 2. And you roll for each one of them separately. So on the patron table, I do have a patron. Let's see what job he's offering. You roll a d10, and that's a 6. So I rolled a 6, and that is a wealthy individual. Well, they're always good for money. And let's roll for the second patron, which is a 4, which is local government. Now, danger pay. I get no mods for any of the rolls for wealthy or local right here, nothing. So I just roll. So danger pay, it's a D10, and I rolled a 3, which is +1 credit. And for the local government, it's a 1, which is also +1 credit. All right, let's go to time frame. No modifications for this. Roll a D10, 10. So this one, the wealthy individual says anytime. That's good because it means I don't have to necessarily do it this turn. And then the local government job is a 2, which is it's got to be done this turn. Now let's do benefits, hazards, and conditions. So benefit, hazards, conditions. The benefits for a wealthy individual, there's a benefit if I roll a 5 or higher. This patron, if you have worked for this patron before, which I have, I don't know why I shouldn't have rolled it. He is a wealthy individual, which just lucked out. Let me go back here. That patron, the one that stayed with me on this planet, I'm pretty sure he was a wealthy individual. No, I lost the wealthy individual, and I kept the local government. Glad I checked that. All right, so I don't get, it says if you have worked for this patron before, the benefit always remains the same. The local government is still offering insurance, so we'll keep him. Let's roll to see if there's a benefit with a wealthy individual. I have to roll a 5 or higher. I rolled a 2, so there's no benefit. Now for hazards, and it just says the benefits remain the same. So hazards will roll separately. Hazards for the first job is a 10, which is private transport. If you have rivals, they cannot track you this turn. That doesn't really do anything because I don't have a rival. And then the hazard for this job is a 6, which is veteran opposition. Enemy is -1 to panic. -1 panic. So if their panic range is 1 to 2, now it's 1. If it's 1 to 3, it's 1 to 2. So I get that. So -1 panic if I choose that job. And I do like that job because of that insurance. And it currently offers the same danger pay. But let's see what the condition is. Condition for this first job is a 1, vengeful, which says if the mission fails, patron becomes rival. I do not like that. I try to avoid rivals. The condition for this job is an 8, which is busy, which says if the mission is a success, the patron offers a new job next campaign turn. Obviously, I think I want this job over here because it's got 1 extra credit of danger pay. It does have to be done this turn, so no choice there. It will give me insurance if I succeed. The problem is there's less likely chance that the opposition will panic. If I just do a straight up opportunity roll, then I don't get that +1 credit. So let's do the patron job. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for the job. So the job is going to be, it is a local government. It is +1 danger pay. Enemies are -1 to morale range. Not to -1 on the morale roll, -1 on their range. And this is it's got to be done this turn, and that's it. It's this turn insurance, and it offers insurance. Okay, so let's see what I'm going to be going up against. First off, let's roll what the deployment condition is. You roll a D100 here, and I rolled a 59. 59 is toxic environment. Toxic environment. Whenever a combatant is stunned, roll a d6 plus savvy. Failure to roll a 4 or higher, and they become a casualty. All right, let's roll for the notable sites. That's a d100. I rolled a 2. Yeah, you can't roll 102, so it's got to be a 2, which is nothing special, so not applicable. So it's just a straight-up fight in a toxic environment. Now we determine the objective. You roll a d10. This is a patron mission, so there's a small subtable here. I rolled a 6, which is secure. You must end 2 consecutive rounds with crew within 2 inches of the center of the table. A crew member with an enemy within 6 inches of them does not count. Once this is achieved, you win. If you drive off the opposition, you can complete the objective at your leisure. Okay. All right, that doesn't sound easy, but it doesn't sound hard. It's basically if you wipe all the opposition off, you can do that whenever you want at your leisure. All right, that's the objective. Rival attacks, I don't have to do that because I'm not being attacked by a rival. Now we come to, I'm not doing an invasion battle because the planet's not being invaded. Determine the enemy. So you roll a D100 on the enemy encounter. Here's the enemy encounter. I am doing a patron mission, so there's a column here. I roll D100. I rolled a 24, which is criminal elements. And each one of these has its own respective table. There's criminal elements, hired muscle, interested parties, and roving threats. So I'm right here on the criminal element. So basically you roll a D100, and it says you are facing some outlawed enterprise or faction. When engaging any opponents from this list, there is an increased chance of a bounty being available. When setting up, roll a d6. If the score is 1 to 3, that many bonus credits will be paid if you hold the field. Career criminals also tend to get even. When rolling to see if a defeated group becomes a rival, roll the d6. With a 1 on roll 2d6, and a 1 on either indicates they will become a rival. If both dice score a 1, they hate you. They become rivals and increase their numbers in future battles by +1. I love this game. All right, so let me see what I roll for the. Let's go ahead and roll to see if there is a bounty. So I roll a d6 on a 1 to 3. There's a 4, so there is no bounty. So let's just see what they are. I rolled a 68, which is Kieran Outlaws. Well, guess what? The Kieran is a race, and I just recruited a Kieran to my crew, his name is Surge. The Kieran Outlaws are +1 to their number, so they come with more numbers. Their panic is only a 1. Their speed is 4, which is good. Their combat is +1, which is not good, and their toughness is 4, which is not good. Their AI is A, which is aggressive, so they're going to come at me, and their weapons are 2A. So the 2 will be for common members, and the A will be a table for any specialists. So let's see how that works. So to determine the number, remember I'm going to add 1 to their number, and it says determine the enemy, and then you determine number. For a campaign crew of 6, which is what I'm bringing to the fight, roll 2d6 and pick the higher result. This is the number of opponents, and then remember I'm going to add +1 to this. I can add the modifier. Okay, there's no, okay. I rolled a 4 and a 3. So the 4 is the higher. I add 1. So there will be 5 enemies. Over here, if you encounter, it says if you encounter 1 to 2 opponents, there will be no specialists. 3 to 6, there will be 1 specialist. So we're automatically down to 4 enemies, 1 specialist, and I believe I'm also going to get a lieutenant. Then it says, if you encounter 4 or more opponents, 1 non-specialist will be a lieutenant. So now I've got 3 standard enemies, 1 specialist, and 1 lieutenant. The lieutenant carries a blade in addition to their normal weapon, and their combat is +1, so he's at +2. Let's go roll their weapons. So what you do is their weapons are 2A. So you come back here to page 104. So I roll on column 2, weapon number 2. I roll this, a D6, and that tells me what the normal enemies are carrying. They're carrying a 3, which is a military rifle. And I believe the military rifle has like a 30, no, it's a 24-inch range. Could be wrong. Let's see what the specialist has. The specialist rolls on the B column, which is a D6, which is a 1, which is a marksman's rifle, which I remember has a range of 36 inches. And the lieutenant also has the military rifle and a blade. Now, I have to go back, and I think there's a unique individual if I roll for it. So it says the enemy force may be led by a very special character. He might be a mastermind, blah, 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 unless fighting an invasion battle. Okay, I'm not fighting an invasion battle. Add +1 if fighting opponents from interested parties. I am not. So you roll 2d6? I think it is. You roll 2d6, and on a 9 or higher, there's a unique individual. I rolled a 6, a 4 and a 2, so no unique individual. That is it, I believe, for enemy encounter. All right, that is it. Then the next thing is to set up the battle and play it. All right, there you go. I've got a local job. It pays +1 danger pay. The enemies are -1 morale. I'm fighting in a toxic environment, so there's always a chance that a stunned character may become a casualty on a simple roll of 4 or higher. My objective is to secure the field, which means to get to the center for 2 consecutive rounds, all crew members, and have no enemies within 6 inches. I'm fighting Kirin outlaws who are +1 combat and toughness of 4. The lieutenant has a +1 to combat, so he's +2. 5 enemies against my 6 crew, so I've already got the numbers against them. I just don't know how this is going to play out, so we shall see. All right, this is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me on my pre-rolls for turn number 4. I will be playing this game this coming week and getting it out to my patrons a week early. If you are not a patron and you would like to see my playthrough videos a week in advance of when they hit YouTube, it's just $1 a month, and there's other benefits as well. Check the video description below to get the link to that, but it's patreon.com/Delver, Delver. That's all for today. I'll be back in about a week with the playthrough video. Everybody, take care.